Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Tom Davis, president of Total Sports Recruiting, back with another interview. I am really excited, and parents, this is going to be an awesome, interview and information sharing thing that we have today. I have Chris Martinez of Homeschooling Athletes that's on Facebook. Um, she is probably one of the best people I've ever heard talk about it. Well, number one, she's had four athletes in her family, all different levels and everything. So we can get into that. But as far as homeschooling, how to get your athlete recruited and take care of everything academically when you're homeschooling your student athlete. And with this, I'd like to welcome Chris in. Chris, how are you
Hi.
today?
Good, Tommy. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak and talk about our journey and homeschooling and the kids and my athletes. And yeah, it's been a journey to be able to share with people how I did it. Yeah.
So, in homeschooling and to where you are now, can you give us a little bit of your background, like your bio, a little background on you?
Okay, so I just have went to college to be a nurse and decided one day after I had my first son, true story, he was probably going to pre-K and part-time, and decided that one of the teachers said, "Hey, he's not reading the way all the other kids are reading." And so I was like, "Okay, what does that mean?" She's like, "Well, he's behind." And I said, "Behind who?" And she said, "The other kids." And um, I said, "Okay, but that doesn't sound right to me." And so after, you know, being a year or two in school for nursing school, I was like, you know what, this is probably not going to work. I really want to focus in on what's going on. And so I did this 20 years ago. My oldest son is 26 years old. So just think this was 21 years ago when it wasn't super cool and it wasn't like everything out there. You really had to like Google and piece together information. And I told my husband, I know you're going to kill me, but maybe nursing is not for me. He said, what? I said, I think I'm going to homeschool our son. And he probably thought I was crazy and thought, okay, well, maybe this is just something she's going to do, get over it, and then just go. Back then, I think homeschoolers had a stigma of like, oh, but they're not socialized and they're weird or they're not involved. Um, and you know what? I wanted to make very clear that that was not going to be my children. Um, and so I just decided I'm going to stay home and school them. And then we had baby number two, and didn't make sense to send him to school. So then that started. And so four children later, it was like, okay, so here I am, 25 years later, closing the door soon on our homeschool education.
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, she just informed me that this will be the last. You know what? And I can see in your eyes that you know what, you're gonna miss it because it to me it's something that you really got involved and took command of and did the
Yes,
right way and all that. So when you were
yes.
telling me before we came on, I was like, well, my heart kind of started hurting a little bit. I'm like, oh, you know what, she's gonna find some way to stay involved with it.
Yes, and I think this in the past couple of years is kind of what motivated me to kind of really start this. I've got phone calls and people who are like, "Hey, can you just help me make sure I'm aligned with NCAA courses? Can I look at your transcript and see what you did? How did you get early academic qualifier?" And so I thought, well, maybe people want to have their hand held. Maybe my 20 years of having four collegiate athletes is something that people really want to hear about. Um, and so it took a lot of nudging because I was really not one to put myself out there. But I thought if I could give back and just um, preach how wonderful homeschooling was for us and what it did for us, and how it helped my athletes, then I said, why not just put it out there? You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. If it's not for you, that's wonderful. If it is for you and you can get a nugget from it, amen. If not, then we keep on moving. And absolutely, Tommy, I am going to miss. The last one hits differently. So June's going to come around. She's actually doing all her dual enrollment classes now on her own, so she barely really needs me. So I'll kind of like check in, like, hey, any tests you have going on now? And but really, I've from December 2025, she basically graduated her last high school course. So I'm kind of watching on the sidelines, and it's gonna be different come June when I don't have any more children here at home. I don't want to homeschool
Yeah.
anymore.
Couple things here. Now, and, and the reason that I really I'm going to use Chris as a resource for my recruiting stuff. I'm in Texas now. Moved here 2 years ago from Pittsburgh. Pennsylvania, not a huge homeschool state. Probably it's just below, I think, 1% of all
Yes,
kids getting homeschooled. And I can come down to Texas to learn 13% of all the kids in Texas are homeschooled. So,
yes,
wow, quite
yes.
a difference in everything. And so, I mean, I had to, been learning, and I'm gonna lean on Chris for stuff and all that. Okay, now you've had four. You've had four. Tell me one major thing. How did your kids react to being homeschooled? Did they all fall in place, or was it some toughness leading up to it?
Um, I want to say that everybody fell in place because my oldest was 5 or 6, and then the second one kind of just was like, well, this is what we're doing. And then the third and fourth one, it's like, oh, this is school. This is what we do. Not to say that it's been the easiest journey. There have been days where I was ready to pull my hair out and say, what am I doing? I can't get everybody to sit down today, or I better look up some extra math because this is not working. And times where I was ready to load them up and drop them off and give somebody else the responsibility because it was hard. It was hard. It was not easy teaching 4 children in 4 different grades. Um, but we wouldn't change it. It was the best thing. I just asked my kids the other day, and they're 26, 22, 20, and 8, going to be 18. And they said, oh gosh, I wouldn't change it for the world. It just allowed us to really hone in on their strengths, their academic strengths, focus on the weaknesses, space school out to help us really focus on things that we needed to work a little longer on. Um, and they excelled. It just worked for us. It was what we knew. But by all means, I always tell people, even beginning this journey as a regular homeschooler, as a homeschool athlete, it is not going to be easy. It is not a perfect road. But you know your kid, right? I know my kid better than anybody else out there. And I can pause the clock and say, okay, we're not moving on to Algebra 2 because you haven't mastered Algebra 1. Or we're not moving on even in sports. We got to learn to run the bases. Like you can't move on if we don't know how to do the basics. And so we stop and just like in sports, like, okay, we're going to do this a little longer. We're going to practice this drill a little longer. So best thing.
You, you said something interesting, and I agree, and I will say, hey, all parents, you know your kid the most, and everything like that. But the whole thing about it is being honest with the
Yes.
kid, and with your feelings on
Yes.
it, and everything else. I totally agree with you, but yet, there's some parents, they know their kid and everything like that, but you get false false
Yes.
uh delusions
Hmm.
of stuff and everything else like that. um I think being honest, and the way that you did it is fantastic. What I want to know now, Okay, you had four that were homeschooled, all went to play. First two Division 1, right?
Oldest Division 1, second
Go
NAIA.
go over the oldest first.
So my oldest, and let me first start by saying my oldest um was not the most scholarly, right? Like some people are like, I want to be a biologist and I want biotech courses and he was just not that kid. All four children have been offered dual enrollment and extra AP courses, and they had the freedom to say, I don't want to study that. And I say, okay, if you don't want it, I'm not going to push you to do something you don't want to do because ultimately it's your journey, not mine. So my first one, was very athletic. If he could play every second of the day, he would do it. Um, he graduated just fine, no extra AP courses, no dual enrollment. It was great to get him into college. All the college is looking at him first academically, and he was being recruited. Shocked my life, Tommy, when I tell you, because I was very new at this, and I was like, "Whoa, he's being recruited! Like he's he's good enough to play in college." And we had like UConn, we had USF, we had oh gosh, I can't remember the names of the schools that were coming after him, but he chose NC State in the ACC. Uh, and so I was like ecstatic. And at that point, I was like, getting congratulations, like, oh my gosh, you did it. And I'm like, did what? Like, you got him in. Oh, okay. Like, it was an amazing accomplishment.
So parents, number one, okay, here you go. Without mom even knowing, because this kid is so good athletically and all that, yes, they will find NC State, Power Four school,
Yeah,
um, and that's how all the other schools that those athletes, word of mouth goes out about them. Uh, you know, and I said, I was talking to Chris about it before. You know what? Have I had those types of kids? Yes. They were the easiest kids to do. It was
yes,
more or less just being Jerry Maguire and talking
yes,
to coaches to see, okay, let's just go over the best offer because the
yes.
offers are all there. Let's go over the best offer and what we can say. But my
And in all
niche,
fairness, sorry, Tommy, in all fairness,
go
one
ahead.
second, my oldest son had made some USID camps, centers. He went he was called 2 or 3 times to those USID centers. So he was already being picked out as some of the top talent in the region at that
Sure.
point. So let's because it's like, oh my God, he got into the ACC, like I could do that too. Well, you have to know where your kid is, right? You
Yeah.
have to know.
There's a
Yeah.
different everybody out there. There is a difference in
Yes.
elite, and
Yes.
elite is higher than excellent. Excellent, very good, above average, everything. There
Yes.
there's all kind of cat. Elite is they look at as can't miss unless they get hurt.
Yes. And I had some that didn't play in the ACC, not his cup of tea, not what he wanted. And that's okay. I knew, to be honest with you, I knew that playing at a higher division was just not going to work for him. But and not many parents do that. I think that, and it wasn't because I already had one in D1. I just knew what the top Division 1 was looking for. I knew the mental attitude that it needed, the intrinsic motivation that it needed to compete and exist in that world. Because I gotta tell you, Division 1, it's ridiculous paying, and it's like a part-time job. Um,
No, it's another full-time job.
yeah,
When
yeah.
you when
Well,
you
between
when you go
school,
to a
right? Putting the
power
two
four,
together.
yep,
Yeah, yeah. It's
absolutely.
ridiculous.
Now,
And the
the,
level of play.
go ahead,
Sorry.
sweetheart.
Sorry, the level of play is like insane. So yeah. But anyway, Tommy, to your say it's a full-time
And
job.
really in soccer too, it's a lot like baseball. Let's put it this way: you have Brazilian, Colombian, people from England,
Yeah.
from all over the world that came in. When I was at the University of Charleston, Division II school in West Virginia, coaching, I went down to actually go to practice and was just walking through the soccer practice the one day, and they had an awesome team. They've won national titles
Awesome.
and that, and to see the amount of international kids that were out on the field, even for Division II, and the level of
Yes.
play was like unbelievable.
Yes. Yes. My second son went NAIA. And I tell people don't sleep on NAIA.
A huge difference from Power Four to remember. NAIA is really not an athletic thing, and you saw it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Now, to give you a little bit of on his story, because I want to paint the picture again, same education. This one decided I am going to dual enroll in some courses. Um, he was very competitive. He was a big fish in a little pond. And at the point around 15 or 16, Atlanta United, which is the big soccer team here, they have a developmental team here for younger athletes, right? We were living in Florida at the time, Tommy, and they invited my son to come join the team. We picked up our family and moved from Tampa to Atlanta to give my son this opportunity. It wound up, if you keep your eyes open, you'll see. I saw that this level of play was not for him. He was more of a child who needed to be a big fish in a little pond. Once he got to that big pond, it was not in his personality. It was the egos of playing in that higher caliber was just not him. And so we had to take a step back and say, okay, we're seeing the writing on the wall. Come recruitment time, come, and we saw him just take his I want to say his competition was just level is just this just wasn't there anymore. And that was okay. It was just like, all right, well, this is not for him. And when recruitment time came along, you know, he had the NAIAs, he had D3s, and just said, okay, I just want to play NAIA. I don't want to be at that level. I don't feel like that's where I want to compete. And we were like, okay, that's great. That's great. That's what makes you
So
happy. Yeah.
let's talk about the third now.
Oh man, my third. Okay. Child number three. By the way, these are two boys. This is my third boy, um, youngest, and he is probably. My boys will probably kill me, but they know he is my most naturally gifted soccer player. Just was born with a ball at his feet. Um, I want to say his while he is so good, he did not have the same motivation as one. And so once again, you saw like when he was out there, he would make the most amazing plays, but didn't like if we said, "Hey, we're going to go train today," he'd be like, "Ah, I don't want to." And then he'd go out on the field and play like he trained all weekend when he really didn't. And then when recruitment time came, it was like, okay, and here's the thing, Tommy, I want to say it's their job to put themselves out there. Okay, I provide the platform. I will give you what you need to put yourself out there, and then you do the work to, send out the emails and be on top of everybody. Anyway, he wound up at a D2 school. Great fit for him. I mean, he was like, I'm going to play all the time. He was a starting freshman. Um, Actually, last year we wound up going in the transfer portal for academic reasons, or we just thought, okay, let's just get him to a closer school. Wound up at a D3 school here where he is the man. They just love him. The team is being built around him. Great. He goes to Oglethorpe University here over in Atlanta and Buckhead. Great campus, great coach, great environment. And it fit. Guess what? It fit. I mean, he's excelling academically. Again, dual enrolled, tons of college credits going into college. So he's going to graduate early. Again, that was his fit. It was greater. Do I think he could have played at a higher division? I do, but it wasn't my journey. It was his journey. It was going to make him happy. So,
Parents, eat all this information up. She's giving you some of the best stuff that you know I talked to you about, try to get you to understand. And, she's been through it. She knows. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to child number four now.
Ooh, so we say baby number four because she is, so it's my one girl after having the three boys. Okay, so let me preface this by saying everybody's different. My daughter will be attending UNC. She will be playing on the soccer team there, the women's soccer team. She was recruited uh, back in 2024, June 15th. My daughter was being called. Again, not the norm, Tommy, right? So I'm going from one to one to one. Let mind you, retrospect, my boys were not boy two and three were not getting all the phone calls June 15th, right? Boy one, which September, I think it's September for boys. Um, again, different, right? My daughter recruiting June 15th, the phone was off the hook. It was just all day long.
Well,
Um,
back then, he's 26. They
yes,
could call at any time, and then they made it August 15th, and then they made it September 15th of their
yes,
junior year.
yes, because I do remember it being around August or something at that time. So my daughter, uh, this was, so let me say, my daughter has been with the U.S. national team. So not only was she invited to the ID centers, you get a center, you get a regional camp, then you get a camp, then you get put on the team. Okay. For all those that don't understand the process, there's a lot that goes on in between there, but that was how the process was. Um, so back U14, she got put on the regional team, and then U15, she was with the team. U16, she was with the team, and then we did switch over. She now plays for Columbia, and so that, my friend, was able to put her on the map where she had every top school in the country calling her, from FSU to Duke to Wake to Virginia Tech to UCLA. You name them, and they were just calling. So that was kind of just picking what was going to be the pick of the litter for us.
So the
Yeah.
first and the last were definitely the easiest things,
Yeah.
because guess what? It's just answer your phone and fill me
Yeah.
in on everything that is. And
Yes.
you know, and it's like you said. I mean, so you've had some stuff. I want to put some information out there, is because people really do not understand Division 3. Yeah, all they understand is there's no athletic scholarships. And I
Yeah.
tell people I have Division 1 talent playing at Division 3 schools
Hmm.
because, number one, they're great students, and they realize, you know what, I'm not going to be professional after I play. I'm gonna go into the workforce. I'm that above average, excellent player and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not that elite that is
Yes.
gonna sit there and move to the next level. And they make great decisions because there is so much academic money that Division 3s will give to you if you're good. And then, and let me see if you will agree on this. So you get that financial page, then you get the next page to where it has the Chris Martinez grant, the Tom Davis grant, the
Yes.
such and such grant. And people are like, wow, Tom, there's 6,000 more dollars over here in grants. What does that mean? I said, Division 3s, while they do not have athletic scholarships, they have
Yeah. Money.
alumni and
Yes.
donors that will sit there and say, "Hey, here's 2 grand every year to put
Yeah.
into your soccer program, your baseball or your softball program. Use it as you'd like." And
Yes.
you get 12 to 20 people that do that. It makes up for a ton of not scholarship, but
Yes.
grants that you do not have to pay back and everything,
Yes.
but gets added on to your academic money. So it's funny. They're like, "Oh, I just heard, D3s had no scholarships, so we didn't look." But now my kids, 80 to 90% of my kids' school is getting paid for, and
Yes.
I'm like, you don't went Division 1, you're lucky. If you're getting 50, you're doing good, because
Yeah.
I know Division 1, Division 2 schools are like this. We want everybody here to pay
Hmm.
50%. Athletes,
Hmm.
students, no matter what, and
Yeah.
everything else. So that's how they go about it, and that. So, man, I'm going to tell you what, in a short amount of time, and I'm going to have you back on, and we're going to sit there and update and talk even more. But I'm going to
Sure.
tell you what, parents, this lady right here, Chris, is an awesome person for helping homeschool students. I deal with some down here in Texas, and they're going to get
Yes.
calls, and it's going to be like, okay, talk to this lady. She
Awesome.
knows her stuff and everything like that.
Awesome.
Um,
Thank you. Yeah.
but
And just for 1 second, I have to agree with you on D3. I got to tell you, when my third son went D3, I mean, we pay close to nothing. It's just the amount of, like, oh, the presidential grades had
Their
everything to do with it.
presidential.
Yes.
Now, see, my sister was at Penn State.
Mm,
Presidential scholarship is the highest scholarship that you can be awarded. Okay,
yes. Yes.
National Honor Society, everything else like that. When you have a
Yes.
presidential scholarship, they look at you as being and Albert
Yeah.
Einstein. My sister went to Penn State. She graduated, and this is before AP and everything. She graduated with her bachelor's and her master's in 3 years, and then went on to become a vice president at Rockwell International and Eaton Software. So, I
Awesome.
mean,
Yeah.
when she talks to me, there's times I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm not even on the level of understanding what she, as far as everything, to where she is in life, and yeah,
Yeah.
I can't imagine being as smart as that. But that
Yeah.
is that's
It's
that's great.
right. Yes, it's putting it both together. I can't stress enough that if you are not that D1 player, it is really okay. You focus on your academics, be a great athlete. You can get to a D3 and be happy. Go
Go
where
in
you're
and
going to
go in
play.
and play. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yes,
I always tell people you have to go where they want you. You have to check
yes,
three boxes. Is the program, do they want you, and do you want to go there? Box number
yes,
one. Second
yes,
one, academics. Okay. So many kids get flim flammed into, well, ooh, we don't have that, but we have something similar. They go
hmm,
in and find out in 4 weeks, man, this is nothing like what I want to do. Unhappiness sets in.
yes,
It goes to the two other boxes. So they have to have what you want. And the third, you have to love where you are. You have to love
yes,
your surroundings, your environment. When you walk across campus, you got to have a smile on
yes,
your face that, hey, I'm talking to everybody. Hey, Professor Martinez,
yes,
who you know.
yes.
Division, when you get to Division 2, uh, 3, and NAI, all the professors, you're not a number.
Know you.
They know you by
Yes,
name.
yes,
And so that's the difference right there. If you go to
yes,
Penn State, if you go
yes,
Mississippi State, any of those schools like that, when you walk in a class of 350 people, they're going to sit there and take attendance. You have a seat that you should be in. If that seat is empty, guess what? And all it is, it's not a name, it's a number.
yes. Yes, yes. This is another thing I tell parents. Like, I had my kid go to NC State. Going to compete at that level is a whole nother level. You're going in with people who are just as good or better than you. So yeah, you got in. Now you got to fight to play. Just because you're in doesn't mean you're going to play. Like, that's just a whole nother level of competition you got to pick up on. So in this process, which is why after child number one, who did he have to struggle to get playtime because everybody's good. Everybody's there for a reason. Everybody's there fighting. And when my daughter chose UNC, now she has to
You
fight to be on the actually play. Like
you
it is
have
what it
you
is.
have whatever the roster size is, you have that number of big fish in small
Yes,
ponds that have all come together. Now,
yep,
now your small pond went from there to
yes,
here, and guess what? And now it's filled. That's not fish anymore. It's sharks. These guys
yes,
all they have your they want to go at it
yes,
mentally like you. They want to go at it physically like you,
yes,
and there will be no back off.
yes.
You know, hey, let's put it this way: they will find ways to beat you, put you off your
Absolutely.
game, everything like that.
Absolutely. Just for reference, my daughter's 2026 class, they don't quote me on the numbers. I think there's 11 or 12 coming in altogether with the 2026 class. I think 11 out of the 12 are national team players. I mean, they've just played at World Cups. They've been involved in CONCACAF tournaments. Like this is it's going to be top of the top fighting when you get there. So I always say, go
Now, and here's
if
a
that's
great
not for
thing.
you.
Here's a great thing to go on, guys. And I know that it's like, okay, well, I got to get on that team. No, you know
Right,
what? You have to be invited because of your ability to be on
correct,
that team. You cannot email or call and say, "Hey, I'd like to have a tryout." That's not how
no.
this works.
No, it's a selection process out of thousands of girls. That's how you make it. That's how you get on the national team here. Yeah. So in this journey, I tell people it doesn't have to be D1. It doesn't have to be D2. Go to where you're going to be happy. If you don't feel like you want to get out there and fight against 28 other national team players, that's okay. It's really okay. Go to where you're wanted, go to where you're going to play, go to where you can financially afford it. And if that is an NAIA or a D3, because D3 does give a lot of money. I mean, they do. They do. I think so many people are stuck on, oh, they don't give athletic money. Well, I mean, we pay very little for my third child's education.
You, like I said, we
Yeah.
covered it, and
Yeah.
you back me, and people,
Yeah.
there's people that are like, oh, come on, what? And I'm like, well, if you were that D3 person and you're not receiving any of those grants,
Yeah.
should tell you a little bit. That tells you where they think of you coming in.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Tommy, I know we covered a lot of information here. We could probably go on forever.
Chris, I am so thrilled and excited that you came on this morning. I know we had to reschedule and all
Yeah,
that
that's okay.
with some stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm going to use you as a resource. Anybody that asks me, I'm going to say, you know what, go talk to
Yes,
her.
please.
She's the
Awesome.
she's the master at it. I know she's going to say, no, I'm not. No, I'm pretty
Uh,
good and everything,
yeah,
but she knows her stuff.
awesome.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, and great information. And anything that you ever need, Chris, all you got to do is get in touch with me.
Absolutely. I sure will. You know, you'll be getting phone calls or text messages, and we'll definitely be in touch, Tommy.
And your Red Sox hat is it will be in the mail on Monday.
Ooh, I don't know. Between Red Sox and Yankees, I rather nah, I just can't. Sorry. Can't do it. We'll see.
I
Maybe I'll
hear
lose a
you.
bet to you.
Oh, yeah, we'll go there. Oh boy, wearing a Mets hat. Yeah. Okay.
And it's opening day next week. Let's go Mets. Tommy, we will talk soon.
All right. You take care,
Okay.
sweetheart.
You too. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Meeting for all.